Here we go. Hey. That's cute. Little pink boat.
That's a cool idea. I wish that the Andrew and I were talking about this last week when we were out. I wish they had like a jumbotron or something where we could watch the like baseball games that go on the weekends. Because like I would love to hang out here on my kayak and just like listen to a bunch of 11-year-olds just like get absolutely lit over their baseball game. I mean, dude, I remember being like in 4th or 5th grade. Like I went lit for my baseball games. Like it's pretty exciting.
They get so hype right here. These tiny little baseball.
I've actually never seen a baseball game in my life.
Dude, baseball games are the best.
Really?
It's not my favorite sport. It is my favorite sport to watch in person.
Really?
My favorite sport is basketball. It's cool going to a basketball game, but in-person baseball, nothing like it. Sunshine, springtime, everybody's excited. You have a hot dog, you have popcorn, you have a beer. It's magical.
We're in. What's up, guys? I'll introduce you to my new couch surfing friends, Stephanie, Aaron. Say good day.
Hey. Howdy.
So Stephanie and Aaron have had me in their place for the past 2 days and been absolutely lovely, showing me the city, telling me about their amazing country, and just been so welcoming. And we're out here on Lady Bird Lake today, and I just wanted to ask them a few questions. There's been this kind of ongoing theme on my second channel at the moment where I'm talking to people about what nature does for them and why it's so important. I feel like we're moving into a world where a lot of people don't understand like what it does for them, that I'm realizing in conversations we've had that you guys have a very different approach to exploring nature than a lot of other people that I've engaged in conversation with on this second channel so far, and also come from a really unique perspective because most of the people that I talk to are either just, I don't know, young artists trying to figure it out, or spiritual people that are maybe already born and raised into kind of a natural nature environment. But you guys are like actually smart people. that
Very kind of you.
Yeah, that work the traditional city life and could easily just not be in nature because of the nature of your jobs, but you purposefully seek it out and purposefully try and involve yourself in adventure. So I guess the first question I have for you is why? Why do you seek out nature?
First, it's definitely more effortful when you have the more quasi-traditional. And I think we're both a little bit fortunate that I think you described our jobs as traditional, but we're both pretty lucky. So he's 100% virtual. I have a job that you'd think would be a stuffy office job, but I'm only in there 1 day a week. But even still, like, it can be very isolating if you let it. And we have not always done it right. Like right when like you started working and I was in law school, like I felt pretty isolated. And part of that was COVID too. So I think we especially started seeking it out because we were in those moments of isolation. And part of it was situational. Everybody experienced the same thing during COVID, right? And we had to seek out ways to reconnect with nature and to just explore. Especially when things were shut down. So I feel like we started like picking up those hobbies when we lived in North Carolina, and it was like the first thing we did was grab paddle boards, and we went out. That knocked us. Sorry.
But you said reconnecting with nature. It's like how did you know like that was an important thing to do? What about you drew to reconnecting with nature?
Because of the isolation. Like even it's like, especially where we lived during COVID, it was so shut down. It's like you weren't having conversations with anybody. Like I was in school, and so like, you know, I knew some people, but like we weren't allowed to see each other in person. And so I kind of think we hit those low points of feeling very isolated, and it's like we just have to get out and do something. And I think we picked up the new hobby of paddleboarding. We just got out on like an empty little lake, and it was just you and me, which is isolated in a way, but it's just like freeing. It was different, right?
Yeah.
And I would say that isolation in nature is something I sort of seek, not just in nature, but in like travel in general. Like my job is very much just like me sitting at a computer looking at it for 40 hours a week, you know, which is, has its good, but it's also just very like I don't know, like new age, right? It's very easy to get lost in like, you know, you see that like meme on the internet all the time of like, oh, like bad screen time has ended, which is your job. Now I get good screen time, which is like me watching TV at night or something like that.
And that's easy to
right?
fall into.
And it's really
just stay
easy
in
to
that
fall
cycle.
into. But yeah, so like getting out in places where it's like, we're out on the lake right now. And it's like, sure, there's other people out here, but like, kind of feels like it's just us, you know?
Yeah.
Like we were
Right.
further up yonder, yeah, no one's out there, you know? So being able to like get out to those places where it's like, I think that real reconnection, at least for me, comes in part in just like feeling like you're the only one around, like feeling like you actually have that meaningful connection, because it's like not you or a screen or not you or a million other people. It's just like you, some people you care about, good scenery.
I think like to do it justice to show the people what kind of adventurous people you are, I'd love you to tell the story about this little boat here, this little inflatable thing.
So this little boat is it's a pack raft, which is basically just like a little kayak that you can roll up into the side of the backpack. So it's all packed up as being like, I don't know, like this big-ish. So you can just throw it in a backpack and take it places. So I got it to like take on backpacking trips. Actually, when I was in Australia about a year and a half ago, I threw it in a backpack, did some kayaking up in some lakes in Tasmania. Really sick. My main use case in Austin was we have a lot of wet weather creeks around here, so dry most of the time, but when it rains, we get like 48 hours worth of water. And so I used to just, I used to just take this thing out after it rained into some wet weather creeks. Which was awesome. I mean, just like a cool way to explore the city, see some new bodies of water. Just a lot of fun until about, what was that, 2 years ago, where I might have been a little bit out of my depth. And to make a long story short, I was briefly trapped under a log after this boat flipped in a rapid, got trapped on the log, and had probably a good 20 or 30 seconds of mortal terror where I nearly drowned in a body of water that was going to have no water in it in probably 12 hours, which would have been very embarrassing. But
Most of the year it's like a walking path. It's
Yep.
just like this dry creek bed. And yeah.
But as you can see, I survived. I made it. I have not taken this boat out into any like strong moving water since then, but flat water, kind of like this lake we're on, is a great time. It goes up quick. It was cheap. It's a glorified pool raft, and it can't do much, but it's a good hang.
Yeah, but one of those kind of like kismet, sort of like serendipity kind of things is where we had those conversations like just literally a week before with a friend who like served in the military and was talking about water survival skills. I don't even remember how that story got brought up, but like tell them about how...
We had just been a friend of Stephanie's had just been telling us about how like when you're trapped in a rip current, the thing you're supposed to do is just float out to the end of the rip current. Just like don't try to fight it because you're going to expend a lot of your energy. It's easier to drown that way.
And everybody's first instinct is to fight it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so
Just let it take you for a second, which is just against everyone's instincts in that situation, right? And in that moment, that tiny piece of advice from a week before popped into your
after
head.
banging my head on a log and being unable to get up for, you know, probably 10 or 15 seconds, I don't know how I thought of that, but I was like, oh yeah, Steph's friend said just float it out, wait till you're
I'll give it
done.
a try.
So, yep, floated it out for, you know, maybe like 5 seconds, popped my head up, and
Maybe this Riley Coyote video will save your life. Remember, if you're in a rip current, just let it take you for a second.
just float it out.
Just let it.
Float it out.
Let it out.
It's good life advice too. Just float it out
Just float it out, right?
through the ups and downs. But I think something that really stood out to me, like with hanging out with you guys for the past 48 hours, and in comparison to some of the other interactions I've had in America and just people's reactions to me couch surfing, a lot of people have been like what the fuck, like that's fucking crazy, like how would you like stay with like random people, blah blah blah, like that's so dangerous and stuff. I think why we've all connected as friends and been able to like just hang out and chat and feel like we've known each other for a long time, even though it's been 48 hours, is our mutual understanding and respect and time taken in nature. Because like we all have that kind of mutual understanding and mutual experience in just being more in the world and being more, I don't know, disconnected from the bullshit online And a lot of the people that these are having these reactions of, to me, couch surfing and it being such a crazy, ridiculous thing, are just caught up in this world of this online fear mongering, and that everyone in the world is like bad people.
It's so easy to get trapped into that. And
Yeah.
then that isolation.
Yeah, most definitely. But yeah.
Like if you had just stayed in one of those fancy hotels downtown behind you, if you like turn the camera that way, like, you know, there's the downtown. If you stayed in one of those high-rise downtowns, like you wouldn't have had these experiences.
Heck no.
It would have just been like things you found like on Google reviews on what to do.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have got to know people, right?
Yeah, every awesome experience I've had in this city so far has been because I've just hung out with locals and
Yeah.
ended up at Mexican drum parties and the best restaurants in random towns in San Marcos and now on Lady Bird River, is it called?
Lake,
Lady Bird
but
Lake.
it's not really a lake, but it is a river, but they call it a lake.
Lady Bird Lake. Like, who would have known that I'd just be hanging out with Stephanie and Aaron, people I didn't know at all a couple days ago. Now just having some great conversations about the world and relating about important topics for other humans to hopefully understand and improve their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's Stephanie. And that's Aaron. Great people. Great vibes. See you tomorrow. Love ya.